Hello, so wonderful to see you again. It's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books. And what we've got for you today is something just a little bit different. Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really hope you'll stick around for it. So, several weeks ago, I was tagged by Leslie at Books, Gers, and Purrs is her channel, and I will link that below. And this is a bunch of questions related to your TBR. So it's called TBR Tag. It was created by Candy at the Great Literary Rabbit Hole, is what I have written down. And this is just a fun way to kind of talk about your experiences with your TBRs. Some good, maybe some not so good. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I watched Leslie's video and I saw her answer all these questions, and then I took the questions and I put them all on a document, and they're all sitting in front of me now, but I have not read through these questions. So what you're going to get from me is you're going to get completely spontaneous answers. I'll probably fumble through a few of these. There are 12 questions in total, so hopefully we can get through all of them. There might be even some that I don't really have any answers to. Now, I've only been doing this since October of last year, so it hasn't quite been a full year. I think we've got another 3 or 4 weeks and I'll hit my 1-year mark. So I thought this was a perfect time to do this, and because Leslie tagged me in this, I really did want to do the video. So here are my answers to these 12 questions about my TBR. So the first question is, how many books are currently or normally on your TBR? So my current September TBR, which is the month that I'm filming this in, I have 14 books, which is a lot for me. My typical, I like to have anywhere between 6 to 10 books. Now, that is going to evolve a little bit, and we'll actually talk about that perhaps a little bit later. But yeah, so that's kind of my average. Now, with the 14 books that I have in my current TBR, I know I'm not going to read all of those. Like in August, I had 11 and I read 7 of them. So that's just to kind of give you an idea. And where I'm at right now, I'm filming this on I think it's the 10th or the 11th of September. I can't remember the exact date without checking it in my phone, which you always do. So based on that, and I finished 2. I have 1 more that's coming up that's pretty long, going to take me a little while. But then a few of the other ones I have, I think might be quick reads. So I expect it'll be 6 to 7 books again is what I'll finish. So maybe half of what I had there. So let's just kind of give you an idea of what it is. But I don't build the TBRs to fit anything in particular. But we're going to talk about that in the next question, because I noticed that the next question says, how do you choose TBR books, and have you ever gamified your TBR, prompt jars, TBR games? So when I first started, I did like a wheel, and I had multiple jars, and too complicated, just got too complicated. So I came up with my own TBR game based on the game of Yahtzee. So if you go back and you look, I will actually tag my latest TBR game so that you have a reference point, and through that, it chooses 6 minimum books and then can go up to a maximum of 12 based on the rules. So I've kind of modified it, and I am going to modify it again a little bit now that I've been playing it for a bit. Come January 1st, there will be some changes made to that, but I love my TBR game, and I just want to make it better. So the idea behind it will be to just improve how I'm playing it. So that's what I do with my TBR. And I think I'm going into, with October, it will be my 4th month playing the game. And I love bringing it to you, and I love picking my TBRs that way. So the next question is, do you have reading areas of focus to choose books for? If yes, how many? No, I don't have any particular focus. When I buy my books, I would say pretty much every genre. I would say that the genre that I probably have the least of might be contemporary fiction. I don't read as much of that as I do all of the other genres, but I love thrillers, I love sci-fi, I love fantasy, I love romance, I like nonfiction. Nonfiction I probably don't have as much either because I have a bit of a narrow focus on what I like and what I don't like in nonfiction, but I like everything. I like to read everything, and I like to bring my reviews of everything to people because I think that that just makes it more interesting for you, the watcher, to maybe find something that you might be interested in that you never thought you'd want to read. And because that's kind of how I approach it. It's like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. And I might see somebody review it and I'm like, oh, I might try that book, even though maybe it's not something I might have read before. So that's basically how I do it. The next question is, does a TBR help you focus? And the answer is yes. I like structure. I am not a mood reader. I am not usually a seasonal reader, except at Christmas, which my Christmas TBR will show that. I like a random selection of books, but I like to know, what do I have in line to read and what am I going to read? It just really helps me get through books. Now, from that group of books, I then choose and prioritize in my head. But once I prioritize them, I read them in the order that I put them in. So I am very structured that way. I'm like that with my work, with the business I run. I mean, basically, I treat everything the same way. So I'm not surprised that I treat my TBRs that way. You know, it's typical for me. So, 5th question is, do you suffer from the book noise of a TBR? I'm not even sure what that exactly means. So I guess my answer would be no, because I don't know if that's like, is it the stress of having the TBR and thinking, you know, you got to read all of it? Because I don't think that of my own TBRs. It's like, yeah, if I don't read all of it, I don't read all of it. So my answer to that would probably be no on that one. The next one, which is the 6th one, do you give your TBR a time limit, and does TBR make you stress about reading quick enough? So obviously my TBR is month to month, and no, I don't stress. If I don't read them all, I don't read them all. Whatever books I don't read, they just, because I keep the cards, so all of my books are on TBR cards like this that are drawn for the Yachtzified, and the book names are on them. And any of the ones, so for every month, I keep the collection of cards, and whichever books I don't read, like if I didn't read Metal Slinger for September, then the Metal Slinger card is just going to go back in the card selection. So I never stress about what I do or don't read. You know, again, it's not a big deal. The TBR is just a hopeful selection of what I've read. Now, in my TBR game, I do not have a system where if I don't read my TBR, I have a punishment. But going forward in January, that will be one of the changes. It'll just be a very small change. And it's, again, it's not really going to affect things a ton, but you'll see if you stick around and you watch my TBR games and you watch it through to January, you'll figure out what that change is going to be. But yeah, so that's basically how I do it. All right, question 7. Do you have rebellion syndrome, not wanting to read a book because you put it on your TBR and now you feel you have to read it? Answer is no. I think I've answered that ahead. It's like, I mean, there are some books that I really don't feel are priority. Now, like being honest, just using September as an example, Metal Slinger is kind of at the bottom of the batch of 14. Not really one that I particularly want to read right now or care. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. So, that's kind of how I prioritize them. And another example of that is the third book from the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, is also on my September TBR, and that I'm reading next. So I have obviously placed that as a priority, even though it came out a little bit later in the game. I want to get that read because so far I'm loving the series, and that's next up. So, feeling a little bit like that. The other thing is, if I have a book that I've had on my TBR multiple times, and the book You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pliego, this month, September's the third time it's been on my TBR, it's getting read this month. So that's kind of how I still prioritize within that, but I don't have any like rebellion syndrome. I have the ones I want to read more than the ones I don't want to read. So that's basically, I think that's pretty simple, right? Number 8, do you keep books on your TBR until they are read or swap the TBR around regularly? So as I mentioned, if they don't get read, they go back into for picking. I don't keep them and roll them over at all. Start with a fresh batch the next month. So, month to month, it's changing, which I also like that too because it keeps variety. It keeps me interested and I never get bored with my TBR. Okay, what's the next one? Number 9, have you ever killed a book by having it on your TBR too long? No. I've had some books that are on my TBR longer than others. I don't know if there's any. Let's see if there's any examples in here. No, I don't think so. No. So sometimes if a book has been sitting on my shelves for a really long time and it comes up, I can't think of one offhand. I know there was one over the last few months, maybe through the summer. If it comes up and if I see it, I'll usually make a priority to read it because if it's been on my shelf a long time, I want to get it read. So that's kind of how I handle those things. But that might answer the question a little bit, but never. I don't know what they mean by killed a book, but no. Do you have, so this 10, do you have a tick list for your TBR to tick off books as you read them? So I use Goodreads. I use Goodreads kind of like a shelving system. So I have all kinds of shelves and I put books in there. So my challenge books are in there and that's a shelf. I had my 25 must-reads for 2025. That was a shelf. And then I have my whole TBR unread, want to read is a shelf of everything that comes in. So as soon as I do a haul, it goes into my Goodreads as a want to read. Okay, so automatically I have a count in Goodreads of what needs to be read that is sitting on my shelves, which is a bit embarrassing because there's a lot of books on there, but that's the way it is. Now, the only thing I do not put on there is ebooks. Ebooks I keep in Kindle. I do not track an ebook until I'm ready to read it. So whatever's in my Kindle's in my Kindle. It does not go on my Goodreads want to read list. That is literally just for tracking what is on my shelves. And that's it. And then once it's read, it gets marked as read. I rate it, review it. Sometimes I don't bother with a review if I don't feel like I want to write one, but I will always give it a rating and then it comes off my shelf and goes in read. So that's basically how I handle my shelves and everything revolves in there easily. And I do not track it anywhere else. I know that there is Fable and there is Storygraph and all that stuff. Now I do have a spreadsheet that I use that I got from Covers with Cassidy. Awesome spreadsheet. And I only use that to basically track month by month and to be able to arrange them in order by what I like the least to what I like the best for when I'm ready to do my reviews. So I use that spreadsheet just strictly for that purpose, and that's it. But I have gotten another spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who I got it from. She's in Bulgaria. Love her to bits, fantastic. And she created this amazing spreadsheet system that I will be starting in 2026, and I will be tracking everything in that spreadsheet system. So I'll be moving all of my TBR list in there. It does everything for you. So I'll see if I can find a link to her site, and I'll put the link below because it's fantastic. Okay, so number 11, with one change, do you think, what one change do you think would help your TBR be more fun? Well, I think I kind of made that change just recently with the Yachtified game. I enjoy that. I enjoy it so much. And if I'm being honest, since I've started doing that, that particular video has just exploded and people love the Yachtified game. I've had a few people approach me and say, do you mind if I play your game? I'm like, no, go ahead and do it. It just, for me, so just, you know, as a side note, Yahtzee is my favorite game. I love playing Yahtzee. I mean, my friend and I, the two of us are addicted to it. We used to play it all the time. We would go to bingo, and during break and everything, we'd sit and we'd play this damn Yahtzee all the time. So that was why when I thought about coming up with the game, a game for reading, I thought, is there a way that I can make this work? And I figured out how to do it. Of course, you know, yes, I want to make some modifications, and by the time the end of the year comes around, I will have been doing it for about 6 months, in around there. So but it's perfect because I'm kind of easing my way into this, and now I have figured out, okay, I want to do it want to add a few extra little things in there that I think are going to be really fun way to do my TBR. So anyway, yeah, so that's the one change I made, and going forward into 2026, I think it's only going to get better. Just my opinion, you know, created it on my own, and yeah, lots of fun. So the last one is TBRs, fun or not. Yes, I love, as I said, I love it. I love the structure of a TBR. I love doing a TBR. But at the same time, I see lots of people make TBRs, and it's like sometimes they read, sometimes they don't. And that's kind of how I feel about it. And you know what? Never feel guilty one way or the other. But I like bringing them to people. The other thing, too, is I think it's really nice that you know that these are the books I have my TBR. So you kind of know what I'm going to review at the beginning of the next month for what I read in that month. So you sort of already have a rounded idea if you might be interested in watching my review videos. Review videos don't get as many hits, but they still do okay. And, you know, I like to review my books and give my opinion on what I thought about everything that I read. So I think it's fun. I think TBRs are fun, but not everybody needs that kind of structure. And not everybody needs that kind of pressure. If you think of it as pressure. I don't. So, you know, that's just me. I like structure. What can I say? Which is why I like questions. And so that's all 12 questions. I don't think we missed anything in there. No, we got them all. So the next thing that I have to do with this video is I have to tag people. And I have a few people that I'm going to tag because I think that they would have a lot of fun with this game. And I'd love it if you could like and subscribe to the video. If you've gotten this far, leave me a book emoji. just to show, and especially let me know if you do TBRs and if you play TBR games. I would love to know if you do or not, or if you like my TBR game, if you've seen it, and if you have any suggestions and you think how I could improve my TBR game, because I'm always open to suggestions. So yeah, so I guess that's it for this video. I think it'll be short and sweet. Most of my videos are not short and sweet. And we'll see you in the next video.